In the middle of 2024, things were getting a little hairy in Canada. Essentially, people were freaking out a little bit about some of the changes to the tax codes that the government of Canada was enacting, and it became politicized and a little bit hot under the collar for folks that were earning more than, I think it was something like $200,000 a year. Essentially, a number of taxes were being kind of fiddled with that meant that people would have to spend a little bit more money if they earned more money. And this had a negative effect on kind of encouraging innovation in that the startup ecosystem here in Canada and a lot of the people that have made money in startups and are trying to build companies that are highly profitable to be able to, continue scaling and stay domiciled here as opposed to becoming a Delaware corp or something. They kind of got angered because founders are typically looking to the government to help support them grow industry in this country. And what was really interesting was one of our client companies, which is a venture capital company named McRock Capital, came to us and said, "Hey, there's a lot of tension flying around, and we want to take a different stab on this topic. We do want to express ourselves on camera and share our perspective on this topic with our audience, but at the same time, we want it to be fun." So we jammed on something really neat and were able to produce a very interesting little segment that wasn't advertising and it wasn't really like a branding piece. It was just a fun little video in our studio, the event studio, which is part of the campus in downtown Toronto here at Startwell. And what this entailed was simply creating, or I should say recreating, a set. And we tried as close as possible to recreate a set from the famous Canadian comedy show that was on SCTV in the 70s and 80s. There was a show called, I guess it was just, Bob and Doug Mackenzie, The Great White North or something like that.
Do it. He's in tune. Okay, good day. Welcome to the Great White North. I'm Bob Mackenzie. This is my brother Doug.
How's it going,
Okay, our topic today is the Great White North because we got lots of mail, about it,
Yeah.
Okay, so
By the way, this topic was my idea.
And so we basically went back into the archives. It was a show with I forget the actor. It's definitely Rick Moranis was one of the guys. And there was an output from this. I know some of you watching this might remember a movie called Strange Brew, which apparently was only a success at the box office in Edmonton, Alberta, and flopped everywhere else and never made it to global distribution. You might be able to dig it up on the internet today. Strange Brew, highly recommended. But yeah, that movie came out of this series, and it was a series of sketches that had a couple catchphrases, and they always had the background behind them when they were talking to camera, and the set was very distinct and poignant. So we recreated that. We regenerated the backdrop for this set. We did all a custom lighting setup to make it look like a 1980s television show. And we found some props that would help lend some Canadiana to the set, so some snowshoes and stuff like that. The shoot itself was very short. It basically had a couple takes, and we chopped it up to make it look like a 1980s television show. And yeah, in this case, I'd like to present the kind of like final product or a couple clips from it. And then we'll also look at some of the things that our clients had to say about working with us here at Startwell to execute on this fun take on a kind of a politicized economic topic.
I think I read something about this. It's called capital gains tax, okay? And here's how it works. The more you gain, the more he taxes.
Right. But let me put this into beer terms. In Canada, we put 24 bottles of beer in a case, right?
Yeah, and for you Americans, that's why we call it a 2-4, eh?
Yeah, well today, Justine, he is taxing the beer making guy on 12 bottles of beer, eh?
Oh no, that's like almost half.
Hoser, that is half, eh? And what he wants to do is he wants to tax the beer making guy another 4 bottles of beer.
Now that's gonna be more than half.
Yeah, Hoser, it's 67%, eh?
Okay, well, I know Canadians are really nice, but I think that's a little too nice, eh?
Yeah, too right, Doug, too right. So I'm Barb Mackenzie, and this is my brother Doug. I'm just joking. I'm Whitney Rockley. This is Scott McDonald, and
Co-founders of McRock Capital, a venture capital fund.
we wanted to have a really professional studio with really professional people, like the team here. Like, it's just insane, and we wanted to make sure that we were doing things in such a pro way that we could really share our message and have it resonate and have people watch the video, as opposed to us trying to do something too homegrown that is perhaps a little bit difficult to watch. So there's a whole bunch of quality aspects that go into why we film here. I don't think we'd film anywhere else, because, like, this is Startwell.
We were trying to find something that was humorous so people would be entertained by it, but with a serious message. And so we decided to replicate a TV show that was done in the 80s that was quite actually famous, as much in the US as it was in Canada, called Bob and Doug Mackenzie. And what we needed to do is create the look and feel of cable TV. So in this day and age, with such high quality cameras and green screens and all kinds of technology that you can use that they didn't have, we had to actually break it down and go really simple. So you can see behind us, we have actually just a set that looked like the set on the SCTV TV show. And we made it really almost simplified. So it would look identical to what the original was filmed in. And it's funny, right? Like, because it's almost humorous that we could find a set and we look like we just walked onto the set of SCTV in the 1980s.
The other thing that I will say is the reason why we insert humor is because sometimes we can get a really serious message across by using humor. And it is one of these mantras that we have, which is, don't take ourselves seriously. We take what we do really seriously, but we can't take ourselves seriously. And so that's a way to punch above, your weight and what we do. So hopefully people enjoy it. It's short enough, it's pro enough, and it's funny enough that we can engage them in a world of TikTok and Insta. So that's it.
Short videos matter, and they work. So we just had to do something that was creative and engaging. And this is way to go, Startwell.